Some cases are more serious than others, and one of the ambulance drivers, Lisa, has just brought in a lurcher in need of urgent attention.
I brought this guy in from Ashtown. He's got really bad mange. He seems to have something on his coat as well. Maybe someone tried to treat him or something, but his coat is very greasy.
For the look of it, you know, very dandruffy. It looks like, yeah, it could be mange. I'm going to do a little test, okay? I'm going to do a skin scrape. But yeah, I'd say it's a very, very bad case of mange, complicated with a skin infection, because it is a very pruritic condition, you know? The animal is going to feel very itchy, so he's probably been scratching. What I'm going to do anyway, I'm going to take a few samples, okay? Just to see if I can see what kind of mite. It's very possible sarcoptic mange, because we have a lot of cases, you know? And that's the kind of lesions you expect in a case of sarcoptic mange. And some people in the countryside believe that if you put diesel on the animal, it's going to kill mange, but obviously, I mean, it's going to produce other skin problems on the animal as well.
Lisbon the lurcher received care around the clock and improved every day. A year after his ordeal, he's made a full recovery and has found a great home with retired salesman Michael.
I sort of fell in love with him as soon as I saw him. I thought he was a beautiful dog, and he's proved, you know, he's better than I expected, really. He's just fantastic, and he's a terrific watchdog as well. His skin seems fine, his coat seems fine. He doesn't seem to have suffered any lasting detrimental effects from his terrible experience, you know.
Over at intensive care, a puppy is awaiting surgery after someone tried to cut part of its tail off.
Oh, look at you.
It's a bit hard to determine what type of dog he is just yet, because he's very, very young. I'd say sort of a collie cross or a terrier anyway. Unfortunately, the problem was he came in, someone had attempted to do a do-it-yourself dock job. It's basically where they try and dock the tail because they want the dog to have a shorter tail instead of a long tail. And he came in with twine wrapped around it, but it was just horrific. Basically, if you look at it there, we just had to shave him up just to see how bad the injuries were. You can actually see the bone popping through at the end of it there. So what unfortunately we're going to do is, if it was left exposed like that, he would pick up an infection. So he's being sedated now, and we're actually going to do a tail amputation on him at the moment, and just try and clean the wound up. It's just a nasty infliction for a little puppy that he didn't deserve. It's not recognised by the Kennel Club anymore, and if they are going to get it done, you know, really we're completely against it, to be honest with you. It's one thing if it's done by a professional who knows what they're doing, you know, but when you get someone themselves just trying to do it, most people do it because they just don't like the look of a long tail. So they do it themselves for that reason, but, you know, it goes wrong so many times, you know, and particularly in a case, as I said, when you have someone who doesn't have a clue what they're doing and just tries to do their own do-it-yourself job, it just can lead to death in young puppies like this. It's just horrific.
He's all tired.
I'm going to tidy up this tail. So basically, a portion of the tail has fallen off. Okay, so now she has a little bit of an infection there, so I'm just going to tidy up and put a few stitches to make sure he doesn't get an infection. Basically, leave the tail alone. And if for any reason they need an amputation because they have a damage on the tail or something, go to a veterinary surgeon and get it done properly.
The puppy with the badly docked tail has found a new home.
When we got him first, he was kind of quiet, a bit distant. It took him about 2 weeks really to kind of gel in, like, and wherever since that now he's come on, great. It's hard to believe people still do that to animals, you know. It's shocking, like. But thank God he was all right now. But it's amazing how he's come on, like, since we had him, like, he's getting so affectionate now and all, like, whereas before he wouldn't sit with you like this, or he might give you a little growl. But now he's loving it, isn't he? Yeah, the house wouldn't be the same now without. It's great fun now, isn't it?
It's the start of another hectic day at the animal hospital, and ambulance driver Gillian is going to look at a very thin dog. A young boxer is very underweight and doesn't appear to have access to food, water or shelter.
I'm not happy now with the conditions that the dog is in. If you have a look, you can clearly see his wastage around the back as well. He's very underweight. Just get down there, baby. Around the ribs, they're very prominent. I don't really know what the situation is. You know, particularly with boxers, they can deteriorate quite quickly. They're the type of dog that they can lose weight within a couple of days, but not to the extent he is. You know, you shouldn't be able, as I said, you can clearly see where his rib cage is sticking out. His back of his waist is literally dwindled, you know, and I wouldn't be happy leaving this dog here, to be honest with you. If I haven't heard by the owner by tomorrow, I'm going to come in with the guards and I'm going to seize the dog and bring him back to the shelter.
Gillian has decided to give the owner an opportunity to make contact and is preparing a notice advising them to call within 24 hours. It's been 24 hours since Gillian called to see the thin boxer. The owner decided to surrender the dog over, and he'll now get the necessary care he desperately needs.
I called into the owner this morning and I had quite a lengthy conversation with him. Now, the owner is suffering from health issues, you know, and isn't able to look after the dog. Obviously, you know, I've convinced him to surrender the dog over to the DSPCA. What we're going to do is going to bring him back to the shelter. We are going to run tests to make sure there is no underlying problems for the fact that he is so skinny and not in the best of condition. I'm really happy because I've gotten him out of that situation, which was my main aim in the first place. You know, with a bit of luck and a bit of TLC, you know, he'll go out to a really lovely family at some point now when he's up for homing.
The boxer, who was surrendered to Gillian 3 months ago, has made great progress and is ready to go to a new home.
He's doing absolutely brilliant. I'm really, really happy with his progress. And he's been with us now for a couple of months. So he's really put on the weight. He's actually put on 10 kilos in body weight compared to when he came in. He was suffering a bit with urinary tract infections and things like that, but we have that sorted now. So yeah, he looks great. His coat is in brilliant condition, and he's in great form and looks perfect. So he's at the best of his health at the moment. Fingers crossed. This is Craig and Riddell. They're actually Susan's new owners, so he's actually going to his new home today, which is absolutely great because they've been up visiting him every day, walking him and everything. It's just fantastic. So it's a great end to a really bad start.
A dog has just been brought in who may have eaten rat poison.
We suspect toxicity, basically. He's eaten some kind of poison, either organophosphate or alpha chlorelase. That's why he's hypersalivating. We're going to sedate him now. We've given him a diazepam IV and he's not responding to that. So he's becoming hypothermic. His temperature is very, very high. He's very warm. So we're going to sedate him.
If the vets can't regulate the dog's temperature, he could die. The seizures are under control, which could mean he's out of the danger zone. With the drip in place, his chances of survival have been drastically increased.
There's a chart for that.
Now it's just a waiting game for the staff at the clinic.
If you keep them sedated and you keep them cooled off and you control the seizures, then yes, they can potentially, but we don't know how long he's been seizing for. That's the problem. They can have long-term, you know, brain damage from this. So until basically the toxin is out of the system, we're going to flush the system. And also you have to keep them sedated so they're not seizing.
The collie, who volunteer vets Susie and Jody battle to save, has made it through the night. He's in a critical condition and they think a poison is still working its way through his system. Vet nurse Alison is giving him some intensive care. Despite all the efforts of the vet staff, the dog didn't make it through the night.
It was very disappointing. I mean, we kind of knew that, I mean, some animals recover fully and others don't, so there's always that chance that, you know, but you kind of hope deep down that it's going to wake up and be fine, but in this case it wasn't, so it was disappointing.
I mean, with any of that, it is really sad, and when you stop caring about the animals that you're seeing, you probably shouldn't be doing veterinary medicine, but you do have to somewhat distance yourself from that, so.